Hi all, I'm Libby, proud captain of Millwall Lionesses. Thank you to our Millwall fan show from the No One Likes Us Talking team for sponsoring me this year. Make sure you give them a listen like I do. Or even better, why not sponsor a Lioness while you're at it like they do? Thank you always for your continued support.
This podcast is a proud member of the Fan Hub 100. Football without fans is nothing, so we've partnered with Fan Hub to put fans first. Search Fan Hub app to play your part in the journey.
Hi, I'm Bethany Warren, and you are joining me to listen to the podcast of our Millwall fan show with the No One Likes Us Talking team, which is available every Friday at 8 p.m.
It's the third Friday of COVID 2.0, and I'm your host, Gary Staff. Before I introduce the team, get well soon, Bethany, and we look forward to hearing from you next week. Look after that shoulder.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
So tonight, I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampy, James Kelly, and the one and only Ted Robinson. Hi, all of everyone.
The one and only? My God, who wrote this script?
I did. I did.
Did he write that for himself, Gal?
God, but
he's writing his own bits now, Gal, isn't he?
He is. He paid me a tenner for that one.
I have been classed as unique for some things, but I don't think
Okay, George. So it's been an international break. What did you think of the England games this week?
Oh, I thought they were dreadful, actually. I know Stan he doesn't like 4-4-2 football and booting it up the field, but really, some of the going back down the field passing just gets on my nerves. I thought it was really quite dreadful. I don't know what the other guys thought.
No, I agree. I like the fact that it's competitive. I was talking to a colleague at work the other day who said, if you're going to do it, don't have the third friendly before the two games. Just keep it in the Euro League and have something to play for rather than these stupid friendlies where people can get injured, etc., aka Ferguson.
The fact that you're having these, what I would call proper matches, certainly does work rather than these friendlies, and why we would have to throw a friendly in the first game.
Let's face it though, George, there's like a little bit of a tier here, isn't there? You start out with friendlies, which nobody can really be arsed about. It's like a kickabout, isn't it? Then you go to the Nations League or wherever it is. That's sort of like watching the Europa League. You know what I mean? I can sort of give and take it. If I'm bored and there's nothing else on the telly, I'll watch a bit of football. Then you go into the European Championship, which we've qualified for, and that's like the Champions League. You know, that's a competitive game. They are competitive, the Nation League's games, but they don't mean what the European Championship means, if you see what I'm saying, like, you know. And in some ways, I think it might benefit England not being involved, because you've got the Euros next year, and they won't have the Nations League to worry about in any sort of...
The Nation League will grow, Ted. You know, it's going to evolve.
Oh, don't get me wrong. George, I'm all for it, because it is better than friendlies. I'm not saying it's not better than friendlies. It is better than friendlies, you know, and there has to be some sort of competitiveness. But what I'm saying, to me as a football fan, watching the Nations League is like going to watch the under-23s at Millwall. You watch them with a bit of interest and whatever, but it's not like going to watch the first team play. You know, it's not that sort of competition, is it? It will grow. We know it'll grow, but it's not got the kudos of a European Championship or a World Cup, obviously.
And James, Mr. Parrott had a couple of minutes over this week as well. Think of the way Ireland treated him there.
Yeah, I thought it was good that he managed to get up to the first team. Just coming back from injury as well, I think it was important that he got some minutes under his belt. Ireland are just appalling, let's be honest, at international level. It was good that they were able to give him some minutes in just a game that really didn't have any relevance to, you know, what them in the Euros or in the Nations League. So, but to be honest with you, I'm bored of international football. I'm just glad that we've got proper football back this weekend, and that the only good thing about this break is that it's the last one until March, to be quite honest with you, Gary. So.
I completely agree. Tonight, we welcome a former Lion who I believe used to live around the corner from me during his playing days at Millwall in Worcester Park. He started his career with fellow London club Crystal Palace. He only made 6 appearances for them before moving on to the Lions on a free transfer. He made 76 starts and came off the bench 13 times for the Lions, scoring 20 goals under the management of Mick McCarthy. He then moved on to Watford for a fee of £450,000 in the summer of 1994. He scored 7 times in 69 appearances for the Hornets before moving on to Crewe Alexandra on a free transfer. He played 20 times for them before moving on to Brighton and then Colchester, where he played his last season in English football. He joined Barry Town in the League of Wales, winning the title 3 seasons running. He then moved back to England, playing for Forest Green, Newport Town, and finished his playing career at Chelmsford City. He is now part owner of New Era Overseas, which helps footballers with financial investment. Tonight we're welcome to the virtual studio, Jamie Morley. Welcome, Jamie.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie. Very well, thanks.
Evening, Jamie.
Evening. Jamie, before I let you off to the panel, was I correct that you used to live Worcester Park Way, New Malden Way, during your Millwall time?
Yes, I did. I lived in Romney Road, which was just off South Lane, off the A3. So my family moved there from Thornton Heath, when I started at Palace, and when I was able to sort of drive, they moved to Worcester Park. And then, I used to travel in to Eltham, New Eltham, the old training ground.
No, I was just off South Lane, in Glebe Gardens.
I know it. Yeah, I know. It's a Malden Manor train station.
That's right.
I actually brought a flat in that Percy Gardens building, and it was a Fairview Homes, and I got a discount because they sponsored me a Millwall shirt. So I steamed right into getting one of them.
Definitely. Brilliant. Oh, brilliant,
Jamie. Hi, Jamie. It's Ted here.
Hi, Ted.
All right, mate. They've got me down here to ask this question about how did you come to join Millwall from Crystal Palace? I know the real answer is that you didn't like Palace to start with, so you wanted to get away from them.
That's because you don't like them, Jamie.
You love Millwall. So, but I'll let you give you the official answer if you like, mate. How did that sort of come about?
I was at Crystal Palace myself, and the likes of Stan Collymore and David White, the understudies, if you like, to the forceful sort of right and bright combination. That basically, we were playing reserve team football, the old combination league, and scoring a lot of goals, and just wanted to basically play first team football. Ian Wright left to go to Arsenal. Crystal Palace were interested in Chris Armstrong as a replacement. That summer, Steve Coppell's assistant manager, Ian Evans, left to go to Millwall to become Mick McCarthy's assistant. So he knew me from youth team level, and he just said, listen, if you want Armstrong, then, we can make that work. But we would like to put Morley in the deal in some capacity. And that's how it sort of come about through Ian Evans, a.k.a. sort of Taff, for knowing that his years at Millwall.
Hi, Jamie. George here.
Hi, George.
Yeah. Look, I can't have you on without asking you without mentioning the West Ham goal.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to mention that. The goal West Ham.
I told him not to mention that, Jamie. I said, don't you mention that. I've got to mention that. But do you want to just tell us about that? That must have been a great moment. I know it was for us, mate. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it lasts in the memory, really. I think, and listen, if there's one memory or one image or one moment that still to this day living in a sort of quite populated Millwall area in the outskirts of Bromley, that if I do get sort of stopped, and you've probably got to be in your 60s to remember it, but if I do get stopped, or so I'll go somewhere and you have to ask for your name in the bank or something, and you say the name Morley, and the man behind there or someone in a cafeteria or in the caf, I go, you ain't the one who scored the goal against West Ham in the first minute. So
we were all there. We were all there, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, a lot of me family. My dad's got one of 11, so he had 11 brothers and sisters, and 4 or 5 of them for their sins were West Ham supporters. So they was all at Upton Park, but they was probably supporting West Ham. So to put us one up, basically from the kick-off from the halfway line, less than a minute, and to see the Millwall fans behind the goal, and I think there's like a celebrationary sort of viral video that goes about where the fans are just jumping on top of each other. I mean, it was a fantastic moment to score, but the celebrations, you know, it speaks volumes, and that just summed up Millwall really in terms of the fearsome support that they took home and away. But I resonate most of it to the away days. I mean, you know, whenever we went away, Newcastle, Derby, the old baseball ground, St James's Park, wherever we went, we always filled it up, and they made more noise in most cases away from home than they did at home. And, you know, they were fantastic moments and memories that I'll cherish.
I was going to say, Jamie, you didn't have to worry about your uncles, your 4 uncles or 5 uncles. There was 5,000 family members there when you scored that goal, I tell you.
Oh, mate, and what a game it turned out to be. I remember it was on the London match, and then we ended up getting a 2-2 draw, but I think Speedy had a couple of chances at the death to...
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, and he screwed them wide, and that everyone was giving him unmerciful signs behind the goal. Casey Keller's goal, like the old signs.
It was shame.
Yeah, exactly, with the wrist.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie. James here.
Hi, James.
Hiya. I just wanted to ask, what was Mick McCarthy like to work under? And do you have any specific memories of him at your time?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm now, funny enough, it's gone full circle. I mean, I got a story, I can go on to it, but I'll start with Mick. And I'd say out of all my managers that I had, and I was lucky to play under, I mean, you mentioned a few of the clubs there, but... You know, there was, fortunately, whatever club I went, it just had to happen. A sort of household name was the manager there, even though you say the likes of Crew, but Dario Grady was the manager, or when I went to Brighton, Mickey Adams or Brian Horton, you know, the old Man City manager. So wherever I went, I had really good managers that always sort of tried to kind of rekindle, get me back to where maybe I was from in Millwall days, but it never really quite happened. At Millwall, it was, you know, Glenn Roeder and Graham Taylor. So really fortunate to play with some good managers, but Mick, for me, was the best manager that I ever played with in terms of just being a man. He told you as it was. He was straight. He wouldn't take no bullshit. If any man at any half time when he spoke wanted to have a straightener with him, you know, he would be there in your face, you know, but at the same time he was sincere. He was a gentle giant, but he didn't mix his words. And I think the combination that he had of good cop, bad cop with him and Ian Evans was fantastic, because Taff would have a laugh and a joke with the warm-ups and, you know, get the lads and the team spirit going. But then when Mick spoke, you knew you had to listen. You know, he was really, you know, Yorkshire, Barnsley, didn't mix his words, a bit of a hard man in his playing days. And he kind of like... just let the players know where you stood, and whether it was Terry Hurlock coming back, Pat Vandenau, Gavin Maguire, you know, Alex Ray, Colin Cooper, some real tough Malcolm Allen, some tough cookies, journeymen, hard people to handle. But Mick had a sort of way where he earned that respect because he was fair. You know, he made everybody feel part of it, whether he was 1 to 17, and if you didn't play or he left you out, he'd pull you in and he'd tell you straight. There wasn't the day of the game where you felt disappointed. You knew, and he'd give you a reason. So for that reason, he was my best manager, and I probably, looking back on hindsight, left a little bit too soon and should have had a bit more time with Mick, because that team that we developed over 2 years that missed out on the playoffs, and I don't know how we did year 1, got in the playoff year 2, we would have stuck together for maybe a year or 2 more. Believe we would have got to the Premier League, because I think 9 out of the 11 starters that played in the playoff final went on and played in the Premier League at bigger and better, you know, bigger teams, if you like.
And also, I wanted to ask you, because I'm too young to know what the old den was like, because I'm 24 years old. I wasn't born when it was open, and I never had the time to go. So, what was it like for you to play at as a player?
I would still say now, I played a combination game there for Crystal Palace, and there was 300 or 400 people in there, but it was very dated in terms of the facilities, if you like, you consider, opposed to what you see now, and it was quite dated in terms of the facilities, the showers, the toilets, the tight corridors. When you led out side by side, and you come out through like a wrought iron sort of like a rooftop. And I thought to myself, cool, I bet this is intimidating, full up. And I've got to say, I made my debut there at home to Wolves. It pissed down with rain, and we thought the game was going to be off. They raked it all morning, but because it was on telly, they wanted the game on.
I remember that game.
Come out, I was about 4th or 5th in line, my home debut. I'd scored on my debut away at Charlton on the week before. Charlton was sharing at West Ham, and because they moved from the Valley, so it was my home game. And as we walked out, people were just banging on this iron cage, and it was like people just trying to fight their way out of a prison. It was like lunatics trying to escape. And then you heard the roar, and the fans were on you. And I've got to say, it was one of the best places to play your football when things are going well and you're enjoying your football and you're playing well. But I've got friends that have said to me from opposing teams, it's one of the most intimidating grounds they've ever played, bar maybe Ellen Road and maybe on a par with an Upton Park. That sort of Millwall, Leeds, West Ham, old school grounds, they were the ones that were the most intimidating. So I've been on both sides of it. And I enjoyed it more so when I was putting the blue shirt on, because the 2 years that I was there with were successful. We won most of them we lost. We were playing attracting football. We were getting averaging 14 to 16,000 every week. I mean, there wasn't many. I go to the Den now, and for whatever reason, you go there and there's the same old hardcore sort of 8,000, but them times, it was, on a Tuesday night you'd play Luton, you'd have 12, 13,000, 14,000 there. And it was, you packed in, you used to get a bit of fog and smog that used to come down for the night games, and you was just a bit of dew on the pitch. I feel it now, mate. I feel it now.
Yeah.
Wow. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Jamie, that wasn't fog.
It's giving me goosebumps, Jamie.
Jamie, you talk about the players that you've played with at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, who out of that crowd, and you named some really good players there, who stood out for you?
Well, I think what Mick created was a well-oiled team. And Mick's teams, even now, I mean, people have always maybe associated him with, playing long ball, 4-4-2, second balls. But I've got to say, some of the football that we were playing, and I spoke to Mick about 10 days ago, and we was recalling it. I think we played 1 week where we played Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, and he said that, we'd beat Sunday, I think we'd beat Watford 5-2. On the Tuesday night, we beat Peterborough 5-1. And then on the Sunday, we beat Brentford 6-1. We scored something like 17 goals, conceded 3. And we weren't playing long ball. We was playing football through the lines, up, back and through. We were starting from the back. When we needed to go forward, we could go forward. And I just think that somebody that was really, really underrated, but was a right cog in the way that Mick wanted to play, there was a number 4. Didn't really look like a footballer, wasn't athletic like a footballer, but a player called Andy May, who sat there, he made it all tick. He just passed the ball up forward. He was, and he let the likes of Alex Ray and more industrious, dynamic players go and do what they had to do. And Ted, we called him, Alex May, but Ted used to just sit there, unsung hero, no frills or spills. He used to keep the ball ticking over 5 yards, 10-yard passes, keeping us moving, keeping us ticking. And then he let the youth in the team, like myself, John Goodman, Andy Roberts, Kenny Cunningham, some talented boys and lads that went on and played for internationals, go and really bring the athleticism, the industrial side of it. But he just sat there and was a real cog in that team. And then people like Malcolm Allen and Ian Bogey and Etienne Verveer. I mean, in today's football, these boys are top players. We were spoilt then, you know. These boys now, I don't see them type of players in today's championship. No disrespect in terms of the amount that we had in one cluster.
I've got to listen to all you say there, James. 100% right. We had a really good side. Do you feel there was a tinge of underachievement by that side? Because, I mean, the ultimate was the playoffs and we never quite done it, did we?
No, we didn't. And I mean, without a doubt, like I said, the last year at the Old Den, we were sitting there third all year round and Newcastle went up with the Keegan money and they signed Andy Cole, Lee Clark. They had a great team. And West Ham went up and we were sitting there third all year. And we ended up losing, I think, the last 3 or 4 games and coming 7th. And Leicester, that come out the pack, I think went up and went up. And I think that was the first year, possibly, or maybe the second year, that they brought the playoffs in, because generally the top 3 would have gone up. But we come third, but went into, we would have generally, we would have gone up the second year, we come third and we got knocked out by Derby. So I think we were consistent over those 2 years. And like I say, the team was evolving. Players were getting a little bit more experienced. I mean, I was only in my second year because, really I only had 6 games at Palace. I was only 19. I was still only 21, 22. And the likes of Johnny Goodman and the team was evolving. I'd signed a 3-year deal in the Christmas, so I was happy. I was more than happy there to stay. So I'll tell you a little story. Man City come in for me in the January, but we're not talking about the Man City as we are today. Turned down about 700 grand and went, listen, we'll give you a new deal. We'll reevaluate it in the summer. Signed a 3-year deal, was more than happy. We played. Derby, all the antics went on. I was on holiday and my agent called me at the time, Barry Silkman. He said, Morales. I said, hello, Barry. He went, Morales. He went, get yourself home. Millwall's accepted £500,000 bid from you from Portsmouth, Jim Smith. Get yourself on the next flight. I went, what's happened, Silky? Burr has accepted it. The sponsors, William Younger and one other, are going to pull out because of the antics. The club are going to need £1 million to move forward into the new Den. Not only have they accepted £500,000 from you, they've accepted £500,000 for Neil Emblem going to Wolves. He said, so get yourself home. So I got myself home, went to meet Jim Smith, and then Glenn Roeder come in, and I topped up going to Watford, believing and thinking that the club had sanctioned it. Mick McCarthy called me 2 days later. He was with the Republic of Ireland squad for the 1994 World Cup. And he had heard about what had happened, and he said to me, what's happened? He went, get yourself back into the training ground tomorrow. I said, Gaffer, I've been sold. And he went, you're effing joking. He put the phone down on me, right? And for 24, 25 years, me and Mick McCarthy never spoke. About 9 months ago, he called me up. Number come up, unknown number. And I went, hello? And he went, Jamie? I went, hello? He said, it's the Gaffer here, Mick McCarthy. I went, Gaffer, how are you? I went, listen, I apologise. He went, no, he let me stop there. He said, I'm going through my garage with my wife Fiona and I've come across a keepsake box. And you sent me a letter in August 1994 apologising and feeling gutted the way that you left and the way it happened, and you hoped that it wouldn't affect us. He said, so I'm ringing you up now, he said, to make that call. So I thought, fair play for keeping a letter for 25 years. Anyway, I said, let me come and meet you and let's have a chat about it. We met in Chislehurst and we had a conversation and we cleared the air. I told him my side of the story, whatever. And now I'm obviously, I own a company called New Era Global Sports that represents players and managers. And I represent Mick and have done for the last 4 years as his agent. And I just 2 weeks ago took him to Cyprus to manage Apael Nicosia. And I'd done that deal. So for 25 years, he looked after me in 1994. And now I look after him as we currently stand. And we didn't speak for 25 years.
So your fault he's in Greece.
So, yeah, well, Cyprus. Cyprus, yeah. So, yeah, it's my fault. But what I'm getting at is, he wasn't happy at the time, and I believe the club sanctioned it. I had the attitude, well, if the club accepted a bid, they want me to go, but that wasn't quite true. If Mick would have known about it and one or two of the directors, it wouldn't have happened. But I left, and then very quickly, 3 or 4 of the lads then went to Wimbledon. Andy Roberts, Kenny Cunningham, Ben Thatcher, Casey Keller went to Tottenham, Coops went to, I think, Middlesbrough, Alex Ray went to Sunderland, and the whole team sort of got broken up.
Do you feel that sort of left a bit of a sour taste in your mouth as well and affected the rest of your career as well, because it all happened a bit?
Yeah.
And the team we had as well.
Yeah, the team that we had, and I just thought, like, listen, I had scored 15 goals in the first season, in my first season in the Championship as a 20-year-old, and you know, and I didn't come there until the October, so I didn't make my debut until, you know, maybe 10 games in. So I got like 1 in 2 to the end of the season for a 20-year-old. I mean, so I was scoring goals, and coming from from Palace to Millwall, I knew I had to hit the ground running to be accepted. Second year, I didn't score so many goals, but I had a bad injury first start of the season, broke my ankle, so I didn't come back to about the November. So I had good times there, and I just thought that every club was going to be like Millwall. I would go to Watford and I would continue to go and do what I'd done there, that I'd done at Millwall. I'd always score goals. But it was just, obviously, looking back now, there was just something about the place. It was a kind of match made in heaven, and I never really recaptured that feeling. But at the same time, I had a real affinity with the fans. I mean, listen, I was young then, I had blonde hair, I had streaks, I was skinny as a rake. I used to run around, and I think at Millwall, that's a gimme. If you run around and try, you've got half a chance. If you've got a bit of ability and you score goals, then yeah, that's a bonus. But I think what they don't accept is players that come there and see it as a wind down period, or see it as a move where they can relax, or, you know, they want to play at 50 or 60%. You know, Millwall fans, they don't accept that. You know, they rather have one of their own youth team lads doing that. So I hit the ground running. I used to give 100%. There was days when, you know, I didn't play well, but as long as they see you giving it, they accepted it. And I had a great affinity there. And I've got to say, I never really recaptured it in my late 30s, where my old manager at Crystal Palace, Peter Nicholas, he got the Barrytown job, and I had 3 fantastic years there, recaptured a bit of me sort of goal scoring exploits, got some success, ended up playing in the Champions League for them, scoring some goals in the Champions League. So it's a great way to end it. But those middle periods, I expected everything to be like it was at Millwall, and I just never felt that same feeling. And I was a Fulham supporter as a kid. I was born in Wandsworth, so I was a Fulham supporter, family club, my granddad. But I've got to say, I never ever experienced that affinity and feeling and acceptance as I did at Millwall anywhere else that I went. And I earned more money when I went on, and sometimes you go for the money, or you think that, you know, he's going to, like I said, things are just going to carry on, and you're going to end up out and being like Teddy. Things are going to, like Teddy Sheridan leaves Millwall. He takes that next step to Nottingham Forest, score goals there, ends up at Man United playing for England. So you score the goals, you know, the goals at Millwall, you're young, you think you're just going to follow the same pathway. But it didn't happen, you know, and I have no regrets in that. But if I have any regrets, is that I left Millwall a tad too soon. I can't deny that.
Jamie, how do you like the modern football, you know, behind closed doors? How does that feel to you?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I mean, I've been, I'm in the industry still, so I know it's behind closed doors for the punters, but, you know, still in our world, we still get the odd opportunity, whether it be via a scout, or so I can get to the odd game. Not every week, but I can get to the odd game. You know, when you used to go to the old reserve team games, when you see a young boy like Tony Dolby coming through or something like that, and or Mark Kennedy, and a few of the fans used to want to catch the buzz and think, I'll go down and watch a reserve team game and watch him, where you can hear the punt of the ball, you can hear the lads speaking. There's not a lot of atmosphere. I think if you're at Millwall and you're a player at Millwall and you've got anything about you to take the rough with the smooth, there's no two ways about it. The fans ain't always going to be kind to you. There's had teammates of mine.
You sure about that, Jamie?
Some of them
always try.
couldn't even go to the games because they got hounded out by the fans. But what I'm getting at is you have to have a bit of bollocks about you if you play for Millwall, because you have to take the rough with the smooth. You have to be a tough character, because when things weren't going well, then, you know, you had the fans on your back every touch, or if you missed the touch and they was on you, they'd be on you, and it could affect your confidence. So I think some players, and maybe the newly signed players that have come to Millwall that haven't played in the atmosphere yet at the Den and ain't sampled it, are probably maybe playing better under not having the pressure there, because, you know, they'll soon realise what Millwall's all about when them fans come back, because then you have to play with pressure. It might only be 10,000 or 12,000, but they make you feel it like there's 30,000 in there, for the good and the bad. So I think that it's terrible to watch. It's not good for anybody. I think the quicker the fans can get back in and support their teams, great for the community, great just to go down the pub. It's the old aftermath. It's not, when people go and watch a game of football, what people fail to realise, and sometimes the government. And I think that, yeah, everybody has to be safe. That's number one. But if you're a football supporter, it starts from when you get up at 8, 9 in the morning, and you put your clobber on, and then you go down the CAF and you meet the same old fellas, and what team do you think is going to pick today? And at 11 o'clock, then it's 12 o'clock, and then you're having a pint, and then the team sheets come out, and then you're still talking about the game at 7 o'clock at night. So it's not just the 90 minutes of football, it's a full day.
Sometimes it starts on Friday night, Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. And rolls into the Sunday morning, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I think that's where people are missing it, and that's where people can then have their mental health issues can come, because it's something that they've just been so used to, that's been on a tap, and now someone's turned that tap off. Something that has become so easy and so taken for granted is now you can't do it. And it starts to kind of affect you over a period of time. So the quicker we get the punters back in, boys, the better for me.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure to hear. And you've been taking me down a memory lane, because I remember those 3 games you spoke about very well when I was a youngster back at the old ground. But before we go, up against Cardiff and Neil Harris this weekend, what are your thoughts?
Yes. Neil plays the same sort of way and will adopt the same sort of tactics. He kind of, tries to play. He plays defensive in my eyes. He's a good manager, but I think he's a defensive-minded manager where he will look to keep a clean sheet first, and then hope that he can, one of his attacking players can pull a rabbit out of the hat. And get him a win. So that's the way he'll be approaching it. I think Millwall, under Rowett, at times can be a little bit more adventurous. I see it being a tight game. I see it being a low-scoring game. I don't think there'll be bundles of goals. I think both teams are going to be, tight at the back. And I just hope that somebody like a Jed Wallace or somebody like that can pull a rabbit out of the back and bring the 3 points. And I think that's the way the game will go. Because, like I say, both teams play on set pieces. They're dangerous at set pieces. I know Millwall got some big boys in the team, and Cooper and Smith, if he's playing, set pieces are going to be key in the game. I just would like to see Millwall being a little bit more expressive. Players have got ability, and sometimes they just, don't want to play through the line so much. There's no fans in the stadium at the minute, so it's not like, sometimes you with the Millwall, when you're playing a little bit of football and a bit of keep ball, you get that old roar all of a sudden, like get it forward. I think the boys can play, believe in each other, trust each other a little bit, give them the ball and try and play through the lines and a bit more build-up rather than all the diagonal from back to front and then sort of, preying on second balls. It's a bit of a fight game. Millwall, we like the rugged stuff. But listen, let's get the ball down. Let's play some football because we've got good players in the team that can play. And I just think at times we get drawn into playing long ball. And I think that you're going to get out of the division by being tight at the back. But I think that you have to be a bit more expressive going forward if you want to get out of this division. I don't think the long ball gets you out of it.
No.
I agree. Well, brilliant. Absolutely pleasure, Jamie. Thank you so much. And we'll get you back on again soon. So until next time, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Cheers, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Jamie. I'm
been a
going to
pleasure.
go and have a look in my
Anytime.
garage, Jamie, see if I've got a letter from you. Perhaps we can get me a gig out.
Yeah, probably. I think I got one of you asking for a shirt or something like that. On the pants.
I'll probably ask for more than that, mate. Don't worry.
Be lucky, lads.
Be lucky.
Cheers, Jamie. Cheers.
Okay, we'll take a break there and listen to Bethany Warren talking about Love Sport Radio.
Bethany Warren here again. Thanks for listening to our show. Don't forget, Love Sport Radio is now mothballed pending change in current conditions. You can still listen, though, to music both online and on DAB. Podcasts are available on demand. Hopefully, we'll be back on the air with them when normality returns to the marketplace.
I'm Gary Staff, and I'm back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted Robinson, James Kelly, and George Lampy. Don't forget, you won't find us at Love Sport Radio, and we know most of you have tried. We're still here on all your good podcast services. It's with great sadness this week that we say goodbye to a very famous Millwall fan. He even got to score for us once. Jeff Burnage wanted to say a few words about the great one and only Des O'Connor.
Like most Millwall fans, it was sad to hear the news of the death of Des O'Connor. Came a bit suddenly, as I understand it, but he definitely was one of us. He was a Millwall fan. Of course, I don't think he'd been to a game in recent years, but I know he was taking a great interest, certainly up until 2004, because he was quoted in the press around the time of the Cup final. People may remember that. What is he mainly remembered for as a Millwall fan? Well, having been born in Stepney, he was one of that crew of Millwall fans born on that side of the river when their families had been dockers on the Isle of Dogs, and that's presumably how that happened for him. But he's remembered by older Millwall fans for the fact that he wrote a column in the programme for several years in the 1960s entitled, I think from memory, From Footlights to Floodlights, something like that. Many people who have got their programmes from the 60s will remember those. People like Chris Bethel have posted stuff online which has always been very helpful to trip the memory. The big one I can remember for Des goes back to 1964 when we played Fulham in the FA Cup. First at Craven Cottage, then in the replay on the Monday night, where whatever the official crowd was for the Millwall home game, it was probably double. People that were there will know I'm right. That was 1964. I know for a fact he was at those two games because he was seen in the director's box from the pitch when the crowd invaded. I'm not saying whether I was one of them. It's best left, I think, unmentioned. The other time I can recall, in 1968, on the 10th of April 1968, he actually had the pleasure for a Millwall fan of scoring the winning goal for Millwall at the Old Den. That came about because we played a friendly with an international 11, star-studded international 11, when in the forward line, and for younger listeners, yes, we had a five-man forward line in the 1960s, he and Jimmy Tarbuck were among the forwards in that game. Des, I remember, scored the winning goal at the Coldblow Lane end to make it 3-2, was getting some friendly stick from around the ground and ran to the halfway line and bared his bum to the crowd. I can't remember whether there were underpants there, but he certainly pulled his shorts down. So, a funny man, very self-deprecatory, a genuine Millwall fan, probably in absentia in recent years, much missed, and I'm very happy to pay tribute to him.
Thanks, Jeff. Rest in peace, Des. They certainly do not make them like you anymore. We'll take a break there and listen to what Kai Bennett's got to say on Millwall Fan TV.
Hey, I'm Kai from Millwall Fan TV. On Millwall Fan TV, I cover pre-match predictions, post-match analysis, and a bit of full-time reaction when we can go to the games. Also, quite a few X-Lounge chats on my YouTube, actually, as we speak right now. I've got some Martin Wolford, Scott Barron, that just a couple to name a few. So do it for the love of Millwall. Absolutely love Millwall, and let's hope we can push on next year and make the playoffs. And if you could subscribe to Millwall Fan TV, that'd be absolutely amazing, and hopefully we can follow the journey together. Comedy Lions.
I'm Gary Staff, and I am back with the No One Likes Us talking team of James Kelly, Ted Robinson and George Lampy. Our final guest this evening is a friend of the show and a man that has been doing some amazing work with the Millwall Community Trust. With their can-do attitude, their amazing work is continuing in these tough times, and that's what we want to discuss with him this evening. Welcome, Millwall Community Trust CEO, Sean Daly.
Good evening, how are you?
Evening, Sean.
Evening, Sean.
Good evening, all.
Sean, before I let you loose on the team, how did the half-term meals go with the children, and has the additional government funding helped with that as well?
Went very well, really. Over 500 meals completed in October. Very happy with that. We look like we're going to run again in December, so we're sort of teed up for sort of like the 18th of December to get the chefs working at the club again and produce some more meals. Look at the same sort of level, 100 a day if we can. We've had the post office come up to us and talk about funding it for us for that period. Wow. So very happy at the moment. Government funding, I don't know if that will really help us out, because I still think there's a lot of children and families that aren't entitled to those free school meals. They fall through the loophole on that, and I want to make sure that we address and support them, I think.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. It just seems like the right families, kids, should get the right food rather than people, as you say, are slipping through the net.
Yeah, I think it was important for us to ensure that we teamed up with food banks in the local area and to make sure that those families and children got the food when they came to collect their daily shopping or their daily food bank utensils. So no, it's a very rewarding project, really enjoyed it, and we'll be back doing it again in December.
Hello, Sean, it's Ted here.
Hi, Ted.
All right, mate. I see the Millwall Community Trust is going to support the NHS frontline workers and their families at King's College Hospital. How did King's and the MCT come together on this? Where are you in sort of implementation of this fantastic project?
During COVID-19, there was lots of issues where we'd already set allegiance with the hospitals, where the club had stored the PPE for Lewisham and for King's. We made the Lions Centre available for blood donations, where the public were a bit worried about going into the hospitals to give blood of what was going in there, and they were understaffed, etc. So we made them available, the Lions Centre. And also we put on some activities for key worker families at local schools when they went back to work. So it just seemed a logical thing that we've got through the first lockdown, we're back out again, COVID seems to be raising again, and as a trust we decided, look, how can we support those frontline workers? We've seen firsthand the pressure they're under and trying to keep us all safe and that, and we just decided that, you know, how can we go out there and support them? So we've come up with an idea, working with a few of the hospital trusts, about what do we think the staff need. You know, they're working 16, 18-hour shifts, and it just seemed a logical way for us to get involved with the hospitals.
George, mate.
George,
I see that there are two sections of the programme, staff and family. Can you tell me more about the staff programme and some of the options?
Well, we felt that, you know, that the staff are under pressure, and the staff need some respite from, you know, their hectic days and the challenging days. But also, as well, the family are going to be affected by not having their parents around and mum and dad working long hours. So we went to the trust and said, you know, what do the staff need? What can a professional football club help you with? And really, they built the project for us. They went to the representatives of the staff and said, look, what do you lack through working all the time? And we're good doing things. So in December, we're starting some Zoom webinars for staff around financial matters, you know, like how to get a mortgage, how to get a key worker mortgage, how to budget, how to do different things like that. So we've teamed up with Barclays, and Barclays are going to do those webinars for the staff. So literally when they finish their shift, they can just log on to a Zoom, and there will be Barclays giving them some advice around finance. we want to look at things like their time. They haven't got time to go and deliver parcels to the post office. So we're going to have like a service where we come down on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday and pick up all their parcels and take them to the post office for them and get them posted. Brilliant. And bring them back their receipts. We're going to look at things like taking shopping lists off staff and saying we've got Asda's at the Old Kent Road. We got on really well with them for all the emergency food packs that we did during COVID. We will go in there with a shopping list, collect all their shopping. When they finish shift, their shopping will be there for them to take home. So they just get more time at home with their family. We've seen firsthand the pressure they're under and what's... They're really trying to keep us safe, and we just want to help them back. And we've come up with the slogan is that we do care, and we've got banners made that are going to be in all the sort of social areas where the nurses and all the staff are, where they can literally say, well, all I've got to do is leave my shopping list here, and when I come back it'll be ready for me. And we're saying, anything that you want us to do, we'll help you with. We've got a yoga teacher as well, and he's going to do some like online yoga sessions for staff after work or on their days off. We're going to look at just having members of staff in their social area that just have a chat. We're going to do an advent calendar. So from the 1st of December right through to the 24th of December, every day that we're going to give gifts out to the key workers, 3 or 4 gifts every day. But there'll be things like a Millwall calendar, a Millwall shirt, a Millwall mug, just to say thank you, but do it sort of like a festive way. And Friday we're going to launch a thing called a Hope Tree. I don't know if you remember last year that we had a Hope Tree that was in the Lion Centre where you could come along, take a star, and it would have something on it like a children's toy, or it'd have toiletries, or it'd have a video or something else. And the fans would bring it back and give that, and we would wrap it, and then we gave it to Mauser. We're going to do the same this year, but we're literally going to, every present that we get from the fans or for donations, we're going to give to the hospital to give to the key workers for their families.
Wow. Brilliant, Sean. That's absolutely fantastic.
Hi, Sean. It's James here. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff, by the way. You've spoken about the staff programme and you've also catered for their families. So how will the family programme differ in any way?
We've offered the families that if they want to do them together, so if it's like a key workers there and they want to do some joint stuff together with us, so we're going to do a bit like the old fitness programme where Joe Wicks did like he did like his exercise thing every morning. So we're talking about doing a Zoom where one of our officers would do a fitness programme that all the family might be able to join in. We're looking to do things like we're trying to speak to Billy at the moment about the players getting involved. I think it's important that families get recognised within this situation. They're missing out on their parents being around, etc. So we're talking to Billy about people like Jed and that sort of people doing like a story, reading a story out of a book that the kids can tune in and watch a professional player read a story to them, so they feel like the parents are around them and helping them with that. We're talking about doing some numeracy and literacy around football, just helping them with their literacy and their numeracy, but doing it in a fun way. We're just coming up with ideas of how we can engage the family and sort of like acknowledge what they're going through as well when their parents aren't there.
That's all brilliant, Sean. That's fantastic, mate, as usual, with the fantastic work that you do. But the funding for doing something like this, though, Sean, must be quite significant. Therefore, how many people from the King's College community and their families would you be able to support with this, or hoping to do?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't put a number of families and key workers that we're going to engage with. I mean, things like the Zooms for the financial, we're doing 2 sessions of that. So 50 people at a time can come onto a Zoom and have that sort of thing. If the need is there, we will try and accommodate as many people as we can in it. We don't know what the numbers are going to be like. I mean, we're going to try and engage as many people as we can. We've got some people from the club that are going to help us. I'm calling in favours from different people that have helped me out in the past. Like Asda's are helping us out. I'm going to try and use as much staff as I can from the club to do the errands. The Lionesses are going to get involved. The supporters club are going to get involved. But we really don't know. It's really a finger in the air. It could be 10 people, it could be 200-300 people. We really don't know at the moment. But I think if the service is offered there, it'll be there for them. And how many people uptake it, I don't know at the moment. But we're going to be offering it out for them.
Sean, I've got some questions, I suppose, based around that. I mean, one is, where will the activities take place? How many of your people will be involved in the project? And do you still need support, volunteer support for the programme?
The activities are, with COVID at the moment, we're going to have to do some things remote. So, like things like the workshops are going to have to be remote. The fitness programs are going to have to be remote. They're going to be online. Things like the errands, picking up the stuff. I mean, we're literally going to go and pick them up from King's and from Lewisham Hospital. So we'll be doing that sort of stuff there. It's going to be a mixture of both, really, at the hospital and away from the hospital. And I mean, I had a discussion with somebody the other day that, sometimes those key workers want to be out of the hospital. They've spent 18 hours in that hospital and they need some respite. So if we can say at 9:30 on Tuesday, the 2nd of December, there'll be a workshop or there'll be a Zoom, a fitness programme, tune in and watch it. So it's going to be a bit of both, really. Volunteers, I'm looking for volunteers all the time. I'm going to be lads are going to be running up and down, taking parcels to the post office and then dropping them back in. So, we're going to be looking for volunteers. If people can help out, that's brilliant. I mean, all the Lionesses have come in and said, give us a timetable. We'll do some of those deliveries. We'll come and do some fitness. We'll come and just sit and have a chat and have a coffee with someone. They've already volunteered to wrap all the presents that are going to come in. I think it just shows about the club and the club in whole, that we do care about people, and I think volunteers will be supporting the programme all the way along.
Brilliant stuff. Sean, you mentioned previously that you were going to look at supporting a new activity within prisons. Has any progress been made on that?
We're teaming up with Belmarsh Prison.
Okay.
It's a prison we're going to be linked with. I had a meeting last week with the prison and the actual funder. So the idea is now we're going to go in and we're going to do 3 cohorts in the prison, 16 inmates. Now the big thing with prison and the inmates on release is that 85% of them will reoffend within the first 3 months and then end up back in prison. And most it is they can't get out of the cycle of crime. They go back to their area where they grew up. They go back to the same people. They don't have any stability. They haven't got jobs and employment or an opportunity of employment. So we're going to go in and we're going to start in January in Belmarsh, and we're going to do workshops around CV writing, about interviewing. We're going to put on some FA level 1s with them so they get some coaching qualifications. We're going to talk about planning and how you get up into that sort of work and how you would sort of plan your day and how you're going to deliver sessions within schools and stuff like that. It's going to be working with inmates that are due to be released within the next 2 years. And what we're going to do is on their release, we will offer them some work placements within the community trust, hopefully just to give them a little bit of hope and sort of like try and break that cycle a little bit so they've got something positive to work on and look forward to. So as an organisation, we've got Tom on the Divide programme who sort of stops people from going into the criminal justice system. This way, we're going to now work with people that are coming out of the criminal justice system and sort of help them to be good community people. So it's it's going to be quite an interesting programme. But I think I've got the good staff that can sort of motivate and be positive for those people coming out of that environment.
Great stuff.
Sure. It is great stuff, as James just said there, and I'm in awe of the work you're doing, and you need to shout about it a lot more and get more people aware of what we do. Sean, absolutely fantastic, and thank you very much for everything you do, personally from me and from all of the No One Likes a Talking team as well. Before we go, up against the old boss on the weekend, how do you think it's going to go, Sean?
It'd be nice to see him, but... Yeah. He ain't walking away with 3 points, no chance. So I'm going to go for a 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0 for us, I think. I think it's going to be a tight game because since he's gone there, they've done well, Cardiff. It's pity the fans aren't going to be here, though, because I think it could be easy 3 points, I think. But I'm going to go for a 1-0. I don't think he's going to be walking away with anything, I don't think.
Sean, you say about the fans there. Do you think he would? What reaction do you think he'd have got from the Millwall fans quickly?
I think the fans would have gave him a great welcome. I think he's a legend, and the fans love him. But I think that would all change when that kick-off happens. Yeah. They'd want the lads in blue to play well. So I think he would have got a great reception, and he'd probably got a great reception at the end of it. But I think during that 90 minutes, I think the fans would be so behind the club, saying, this is what you've missed, a club that's going and developing very well.
Indeed. Sean, again, thank you so much for all your efforts on the Millwall Community Trust, and we're proud that you come on this with us and talk about what you do, and thank you again.
No, thank you for all your support and everything. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sean.
Cheers,
Sean. Sean. Take care.
Good night.
Following that, we will take a break and hear how you can be somebody else's eyes.
Hi, Bethany Warren here. Millwall Lionesses have partnered with international smartphone application Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is an application that truly benefits the poor of sight and the blind, but is supported by those of us that can see.
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available number.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Correct image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in. Would you care to be my eyes?
Be My Eyes is displayed on the Lionesses shorts this season. Download the app onto your smartphone now and help those that need your eyes straight away.
I'm Gary Staff, and I am back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of George Lampy, James Kelly, and the one and only Ted Robinson. Next up, we can head to the home game against our former manager, Neil Harris, and his new team, Cardiff City. But before we start discussing the game, Henry has been speaking to the opposition, in particular to Phil Clark, who has played the game to a very good level. Let's hear what he had to say.
This evening, we welcome semi-professional footballer and Cardiff City fan Phil Clark. Good evening, Phil.
Hey, Henry. How are you doing? Okay?
Very well. With honours at Wales under-16, under-18, appearance in the UEFA Cup with Inter Cardiff, spells in the National League of Wales Premier Division with Cardiff Met, Tom Pentra, Bridgend Town, or Penabont, as...
Yeah, that's right. Penabont now.
Taff Wells and Pontypridd Town, your hometown. With all that experience, you must know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm not too sure about that, Henry, but I'll give it a go anyway.
Brief history of the fixture sees Millwall winning 21 of our previous fixtures, 20 games. Cardiff have won 27 draws, which is actually the story of the last 5 or 6 fixtures where we played Cardiff. They've all been draws. I think you have to go back to 2014 or something till there's an actual positive result for either team. We first played each other back in the second division in 1929, where Millwall were the victors by 2-0. Cardiff come into the fixture off the back of a 1-0 home defeat to Bristol City, which sees them sitting 15th in the Championship. 3 wins, 4 losses, 4 draws. Phil, how has the season been other than those statistics so far for Cardiff?
Yeah, I think the fans have been quite sort of disappointed with the season thus far. Our away form has been pretty good on the road. I think we've only lost one, but our home form has been poor. I'm not too sure what our record is again. And I think we're lacking a little bit of consistency. We had such a good end to last season, but we haven't seemed to have kicked on from that, really.
What's the general feeling about Neil Harris? Obviously, he's a bit of a legend in South London, whichever way he sort of finished his tenure with us after that game at Luton. How's he viewed down in Cardiff?
Well, actually, today is officially his first year in charge. I think even though he did really well at Millwall, I think Cardiff, after Neil Warnock, they were a little bit underwhelmed by the appointment. I don't know why. I don't know whether there was something that they thought there was a Neil Warnock part 2 in terms of the style of play. I think they were maybe looking for a change in direction because they had Neil Warnock for 2 seasons. And I think everyone, as fans these days, likes to see sort of attractive style of football. But I think he came in, and then we had that end of season run, Indeed. Which I don't think anyone expected, really. We sort of excelled. Didn't really expect that. Yeah, everything was good. But again, I think there's still been question marks regarding the style of football. I think with the start we've had this season, we can kick on at some stage with the players and the squad we've got. And I think that has to happen pretty soon.
So who do Millwall need to look out for from the Cardiff City ranks?
I think Harry Wilson did well at Bournemouth last year. I mean, his quality in free kicks is outstanding. He's better than Gareth Bale. Some of his free kicks for Bournemouth last year in the Premier League were just sort of outstanding. So he is definitely a threat. I would say Kiefer Moore as well. Did well in the Championship last year. Yeah. He hasn't really kicked on for Cardiff yet. I think he scored 3 goals in 11 matches. He always does well for Wales, but I'm sure he'll come good at some point. He's 6'5". He's not bad on the ground as well, and I think he's always going to be a threat, especially at Championship level with that physicality.
2 very good players there, actually, with large price tags. Who we need to look out for. From Cardiff City's perspective, who do they feel are the biggest threats from the mighty Lions?
Yeah, I think the one is Jed Wallace. He's a really, really good playmaker. He keeps them ticking over. He scores good free kicks as well. So I think Cardiff have got to keep a keen eye on him.
Finally, we come on to the last part, which is what is your prediction for the game this coming Saturday?
Oh, God. Like I say, Cardiff's away form has been really, really good this season.
Yeah.
Millwall doing well. So I would have to say, coming off the back of the international break as well, put it as a 1-1 draw.
And I think I very much would echo that as well. Well, it's been wonderful talking all things Cardiff City with you. After Saturday, good luck for the rest of the season.
And you.
Thank you. But obviously this Saturday, I hope you lose 6-0. Cheers, Phil.
Thanks, Henry. The 6-0 is there again. Interesting to hear his comments there. George, what are your thoughts for Saturday?
Well, I think it's going to be quite an hard game, actually. I think the point you made there with Sean, actually, is one that I'm a little bit disappointed about, with Neil coming back and there being no crowd, because I think he would have got a marvellous ovation from the supporters. I'm a real big Neil Harris fan. As far as the team, I think he's got quite a decent side there. They've not started really well. I do worry for Neil. I think he's always going to be under a little bit of pressure at Cardiff because they demand so much. They've got some good players. I think it's going to be a very hard game for us Saturday.
What about you, Ted?
Well, I think it's going to be a piece of cake for us. I think we're going to knock them out of the park.
I told you he knew nothing about football.
No, listen, Cardiff is a typical Neil Harris side, which means they'll be difficult to beat. They have got some good players in their ranks. This is a team that wasn't that long ago in the Premier League. 1 or 2 of them floating around, but the Premier League money's still floating around amongst them. That's why they went out and bought Kiefer Moore. But the one that Phil brought my attention to that I forgot about, and he is a very good player, is this Harry Wilson. I just got this feeling that the last couple of games where Millwall struggled a bit to get going against Norwich and Sheffield Wednesday, I think the breaks come for us at a decent time. If you look at it, probably most of our starting lineup will not have been involved in the internationals, and I think they've had time to get their heads back together and to, will come out and start playing the sort of football that we know that they're capable of doing. There is the added thing there that there's their old manager there for some of them, Neil Harris, and that tends to G people up a little bit. I know Neil will be trying to G his people up, saying this is where I spent a long time, I can't walk away out of here losing, if you know what I mean. But I've just got this feeling that this Saturday Millwall are going to be showing us what they're made of in a championship, and I think, I hate to say this, but I think Neil might be getting under a little bit of pressure at Cardiff, and I'm not sure they're quite firing. So I'm hopeful this week, very hopeful.
Last but no means least, James?
Yeah, I think it is going to be a very tough game, especially considering Cardiff just went out and bought Kiefer Moore, who for me is just the typical Neil Harris signing, a big lump up top. So they're going to be very direct, I feel. I've seen they've only won one in their last 6 games, but 3 of which were 1-1 draws. So they are very defensive minded, shutting up shop, making sure that they can get at least a point, maybe even a win. They beat Barnsley 3-0 the other week as well. But yeah, I just think Harry Wilson and Kiefer Moore are going to be the 2 players that we need to keep suppressed. If we can do that, then I've got no doubts that we can take a win.
So, quickly, George, prediction?
I'm going to go a draw, 2-2.
Or Desmond. Ted?
Well, I was thinking 2-0 to us, but since Phil mentioned Harry Wilson, I'm a little bit... But I'm going to stick with 2-0. 2-0, mate.
James?
To the lines.
I'm going to say 2-1 us.
Okay. Personally, I think... with a lot of the players knowing how Neil Harris plays, I think it'd be a confident 3-1 victory. And now we will take a break there and listen to the wonderful dulcet tones of Patricia Maslin.
Really?
Hi, Patricia Maslin here. The Millwall Community Trust needs volunteer help. Whether you're an organisation with bodies able to assist or an individual, the Trust needs you during the current conditions to support the vulnerable and needy. If you can help make a difference or need help, please contact Sean Daly, the Trust's Chief Executive Officer, by phone on 07 958 027060. Once again, that's 07 958 027060. Or contact by email sdaly, I'll spell that, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. I'll repeat that, sdaly, SDALY, at millwallcommunity, all one word, .org.uk. If you can, or you know someone or any organisation who might be able to help, please let the Community Trust know. Thank you.
I'm Gary Staff, and I am back with the No One Likes Us Talking team of James Kelly, Ted Robinson and George Lampy. People continue to lose their lives to this dreadful virus, or as a consequence of suffering with it as deaths and infections continue, whilst many more remain hospitalised too. Our thoughts go out to their families, friends and those who take care of them.
Next week we welcome back Stan, Bethany and Jeff to be hosted by Eamon. There are so many fans who want to support the club, and you can help by joining the Lions Loyalty Club, which is £40 with benefits. For £25, you can be a member of your family and also become a crowdie. How about that? For £103.95, and I'm being particular here, You can be a virtual mascot with benefits, or why not sponsor a player's kit for £570 with benefits? All these can be found on the Millwall website. Lastly, don't forget iFollow returns with Carl Bates. That will be tomorrow against Cardiff. And 100% of what you pay for the internet streaming service goes to Millwall Football Club. So what a good way to improve our revenue at this challenging time. And don't forget, maybe with a bit of luck, Beanback will be returning soon, hopefully in the executive lounge at the Den when, the COVID restrictions are lifted. So watch out for that for updates on the Millwall website. Stay safe, everybody, and good night.
Scott Johnson, the founder of the Proper Blokes Club, is looking for guys to come along and join him to break the stigma of men's mental health with walks and talk groups. The lockdown means that Scott is unable to continue with the walks until imposed restrictions change, but he does offer alternative options. Check out the Proper Blokes Club on Twitter and Facebook for further details. Stay safe, everyone, and that's good night from me.
Player sponsorship for the Lionesses is available for this season. Why not give them some added support? And you can find details on their website. Just put Millwall Lionesses into your browser and you'll find them easily enough. We have led by example and sponsored their captain, the wonderful Libby Stubbs. Don't forget there are no games for either the Lionesses or Millwall Romans until further notice. Last but not least, drum roll please. Congratulations to Peter Barrett from Bromley and Les Phillips from Rootham for winning a Husky yellow signed shirt by answering our competition quiz. Thankfully, it wasn't a red one, lads. And being drawn from the many correct answers by stating Henry Morgan had his shirt signed by last week's wonderful guest, Tony Dolby. For now, it's good night from me.
And lastly, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets now. Follow the lockdown guidance, social distancing when outside, and a face mask where necessary. That's it from me. Thanks, George, James and Ted. Until next time, good night.